All right, welcome back to the channel. I'm here with Stengo, and we are going to be playing Carpath's Chaos Fairy deck. So at the beginning of 2023, he won a Deck Devastator tournament with this exact list, and then he used it again, card for card, did not change a single thing. I believe we just verified it. He didn't change a single thing, and he topped RBET Rulers, top 8 it like last week. So it's been almost a year since this deck has really premiered, or not a year, but it's been, beginning of 2023, and now we're at the end of 2023. And yeah, the deck is actually what I believe to be the better version of fairies. I have a lot of problems with pure fairies, and I think that a lot of the community that plays that deck is coping. And I don't know what it needs to be pushed further, but I do think that Chaos Fairies is already just a better deck. I did tier it higher than Pure Fairies. And it's a couple reasons that I want to kind of go over before we really get into this deck. So one of the things that everyone knows now is Deep Prison is the most played card in Edison format. That is a fact. It is the most played card. If you look at any tournament, you look up every deck list and you tally all of the cards played, Deep Prison is the most played card in any Edison tournament. So with that being said, decks that play recruiters actually get hurt quite a lot by Deep Prison, meaning that Shining Angel and Nova Summoner, even things like Dimensional Alchemist, they get kind of screwed over because Deep Prison is so prevalent, and Pure Fairies don't play Royal Decree like the Chaos Fairy deck does. So that's already one tick for why I think Chaos Fairies is actually a pretty good call, is because it gets the main deck Decree, and some of the best decks, Black Wings, Hero Beat, Value Turbo, they play a shit ton of traps. They also play sometimes triple Deep Prison. Most of them just play triple Deep Prison. And so that card is super annoying for your Shining Angels and Nova Summoners and D-Alks and stuff. And this deck kind of solves that by playing Decree. So that's one thing. Pure Fairies also has, in my opinion, way too many normal summons. Like I cannot stand some of those hands that they're just, you have 4 normal summons and 2 traps, and like that is one of their better hands at that, and you have to decide like which normal summon am I gonna do, and then when you fall behind by a Caius or something, you just start losing the game. You get out tempoed really easily, and I'm not a fan of that. So I don't like the fact that there's so many normal summons, and the only special summon you have in Pure Fairies is really just Christia. Whereas Chaos Fairies, it has Chaos Sorcerer, Tragodia, Battle Faders, Cyber Dragon. Like there's a lot more going on in terms of special summoning monsters, and that actually makes the deck like a lot more resilient. Also in games 2 and 3, because you're playing Caiuses and dark monsters in general, Light Mirror isn't as effective against this deck as it is against Pure Fairies, which is just a deck of all light monsters. I think everything except maybe Gores in that version is going to be a light monster, so Light Mirror does completely shut it down. Now I will say, Light Mirror isn't cited as much anymore because Pure Fairies isn't respected. So it's kind of like a weird thing where right now is probably the best time that you could ever play Pure Fairies, but the deck is still just not doing well. Like it doesn't top really. It doesn't really perform well. Whereas Chaos Fairies, it doesn't really get entered at all. But when it does, so far it's won a tournament and it's topped the number one. And I think those are like the only 2 entrants I can recall the whole year. So that's pretty good showing for Chaos Fairies. Also, randomly, like Dimensional Alchemist is really bad against Hamster and Raikou. That's just like a random fairy thing that monster's stats, like D-Alk is 13 to 1800. Hamster walls it out. Hamster's played a lot. It's played by basically the best performing deck of 2023, Value Turbo. And D-Alk running into a Hamster is really bad because Raikou makes it miss timing in this format. That's just an annoying thing. And in general, Pure Fairies actually has a very hard time getting over big butts like Snowman Eater, Hamster, and stuff like that. They can be really problematic. You need to use like DD War Lady to get through them. Whereas Chaos Fairy has Caiuses, and Caius just doesn't care about, set monsters at all. So Caius is one of the best cards in the format. The fact that Chaos Fairies gets to play a full 3 copies of it, I think is actually a great thing. And then there's also the deck devastation virus problem, which is just a fairy problem in general. I don't think that this deck particularly solves that, but like, maybe you could side in a way where it doesn't hurt you as much. This is always like the copium with this deck though. But like, yeah, if you get hit by Deck Devi, you might lose. This version has a few less monsters that get hit by Deck Devi than Pure Fairies because it's just playing like Chaos Sorcerer, Enrise, triple Caius and stuff like that, Cyber Dragon in the main deck, things that aren't in the Pure Fairy deck. These are some of the reasons why I think that, Chaos Fairy is overall a better deck. And then this deck does all the same things that the Pure Fairy deck does. Like it plays triple Herald of Orange Light, so people who love that card, you still have it. It plays Christia, you still have her. She's still there. Her, him, whatever the hell it is. I think, yeah, a lot of the things that people like Pure Fairies for, this deck does, but then it just does a little bit extra. And I like that. Like I even love Battle Fader because you can't see it coming. And me being a frog player, I know that people tend to overextend into an open field when they see Gores in the grave or they just assume that you're dead. And then you battle fader them. And this deck has a great reversal with Caius. So there's a lot of reasons why I like it. I do not think that this is like one of the absolute best decks in the format. I think that the 4 best decks are still Vayu, Sirocco decks, and then the Miracle Fusion decks. But I do think that like this is a good deck in the format for sure. Like it's just that no one plays it. Like literally no one but one person plays this deck. Every time I look at the fairy channel in Discord, it's just people talking about pure fairies, which is so interesting because that version does not have the results to actually be praised the way it is. So it's just a very weird thing that's happening with pure fairies versus chaos fairies. But Stango, is there anything you wanted to add, or do you want to just get into a duel? Like, what do you want to do?
I think the biggest thing to note with chaos fairies versus pure fairies is that, like you were saying with the games one and the post board games, is that D-prison's a really big problem. And I think just the inclusion of Royal Decree in itself actually helps a lot because, in all honesty, like in a vacuum, the game plan of fairies is like pretty strong. They have like toolboxes of monsters they can use to remove your stuff. They kind of can have searchable Onuses and stuff like that. Cyber Valley with mind control is a really strong play. Herald of Orange Light is always devastating in really crucial situations. You know, one of the things is me being a frog player is that when I really need a monster effect to go through, like I really need this Ryza to go off, I really need this Caius to go off, I need this substitute to activate and let me dump my whole deck. When you know you're playing against fairies, you just never truly know. And there's pretty much, I would say, you kind of often get into those positions against fairies, and you just kind of have to run the gamut, be like, well, if you got the fairy and the herald, then like you got me. The main thing that I would say that I like about this list over pure fairies is that I agree with the issues that you were, analyzing that they have. They have a big issue with D prison, and they have a big issue post board with deck devastation virus. And I think with just the inclusion of Royal Decree in itself, that actually directly answers
Yeah.
that problem more effectively than just like,
Yeah, 2 of the biggest
oh,
problems are taken out by Decree.
yeah, I think in general, like it's kind of weird to say outside of like, the big butts like Snowman Eater. I think in general fairies lose to traps more often than they lose to other things because Deck Devastation Virus is literally like an FTK card because all of their game plan is completely tied to their recruiters and having field presence because as you said they're very slow on tempo, very normal summon heavy deck. The normal summons, when they get to play the game, are really impactful and they're sticky and hard to remove. But sometimes you just kind of, get one bad exchange going as a fairy player and you can never really recover, especially if you're playing just pure fairies because you don't have the additional extenders. Before we started the recording, I was kind of talking to Fraser about like, it's interesting to me. The chaos fairies kind of seem like the bridge or the gateway to like how hero frogs started to become like the main list of frogs
Right.
that people started to play because normal frog monarchs were like, oh wow, this is so broken. Like you play fucking 4 brain controls and you have all these monarchs and soul exchange outs any field and stuff like that. But then, like, when people started respecting frogs more and siding more for it, like, one pulling the rug is like a complete turn stopper, and you have nothing else beyond that. And all you're really doing is just like kind of biding your time and like playing these discard traps that like put you in negative situations. Like, you needed your moniker to go off, or you needed another play. But at the time, Frog Monarchs just didn't have those kind of plays. And I feel like that's a similar position fairies are in, is that when people are like, okay, I'm not gonna like treat fairies sweet, I have a side plan for it, or like my deck's matchup is naturally really good against fairies. If one thing goes wrong for normal vanilla fairies, it is very difficult to come back. But running into a torrential or a mirror force in, chaos fairies, you never know if it's like, okay, well, his field is open. Now it's time for me to, OTK him. You never know if you're getting fadered. You never know if main two, a chaos sorcerer, is getting dropped and banishing the monster they were going after anyway.
Right. Even
There's so
Emerald is
many
good.
different angles that they're coming from. And honestly, that's the most important thing in Edison format is like the longer the format is going, the more people are realizing that in the confines of what you can do in an old 5D Synchro format, you need more plays than just like normal summon, set a monster, pass.
Yeah, that's what it is for me.
Y-
That really bothers me that the Pure Fairy deck is so, normal summon or a normal set and pass until Christia drops. And of course, when Christia drops, then the deck is like in its own tier because Christia is absolutely fucking insane. And I would never doubt that. But like getting to that point, the everything before the Christia comes out is not it, considering where the meta is right now. The other weird thing to me, and this is kind of the last thing I'll say before we get into a game, is there's this myth that like the fairy deck just destroys Blackwings. And I find that very hard to believe because Blackwings is the most played deck in every Yu-Gi-Oh tournament for Edison. So if that's the case, right? If Blackwings is truly like some deck that can't beat fairies, then how is it that the fairy players who do enter tournaments, I mean, they're pure fairy players, how come they just don't do well, even with Blackwings always doing well? Like, it seems really strange to me that your best matchup is the most represented and the deck just doesn't top. Like, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
if you think about it just math wise, like if Blackwings is the most representative, which it definitely is for almost every single tournament, especially online, I would say offline it's probably a little different.
Yeah, I agree.
Offline, it seems like Blackwings aren't as popular, but online generally has a more competitive, like a more top heavy, like competitively focused space where like pretty much people are only playing real decks for the most part.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. People, because in real life, people play what they have usually. So, like, you'll still have people playing like gadgets and not Tengu plants, but quick draw, plant, whatever, stuff like
Yeah,
that. But I think online, where everyone just has every card.
right.
So they play real decks, they play Blackwings, they play the value decks, they play all of that stuff. And fairies is supposed to beat Blackwings, but
yeah, it's like math wise, it's like if you're supposed to see Blackwings, like let's say like 50% more often than any other matchup each round, then like how is fairies not top 8ing every event? Like the way the meta seems like to me, if Blackwings are so in and fairies, vanilla fairies, just like beat the brakes off of Blackwings like that, they should pretty much be top 8 every single bracket.
Yeah, they should be topping. If your best matchup is the most represented deck in the format, then there's no reason why a good fairy player should not be able to enter a tournament and do well, assuming they don't get absolutely destroyed by bracket luck. And again, I think that using luck at this stage, it's been a full year. Using luck at this stage is such a lazy argument. The other side of the coin, too, is that, like, so of course, you're not going to play Blackwings every round. That's not realistic. But then you have to acknowledge, and this is something that I realize fairy players have a hard time accepting, too. You guys have bad matchups. And for some strange reason, the fairy community does not want to acknowledge that they have bad matchups. They just kind of like, I don't know, hive-minded and say like, oh, you just do this in this matchup, you just do that, and it makes it sound so binary. Like, oh, your opponent does this, you just do this, and you always have it. It's like that's not how Yu-Gi-Oh plays out in general. Like in general, no game of Yu-Gi-Oh just plays out by, oh, you just do this every time. I wish that I could say, oh, they set a monster, I Caius every time with my frogs. Like that's not how it works. I fucking sometimes have to deal with set monsters, and I know how to deal with them when I don't have a monarch. And so like you have to admit as a fairy player that your deck does have other bad matchups because clearly you're not just losing to Blackwings, right? Even though it's the most represented, it's your best matchup. You're losing to something else, but like what is that something else? Is it value turbo? Is that what's holding you back? Is it hero beat? Is that what's holding you back? Is it frogs? Is that what's holding you back? Because you have to acknowledge like I know what my bad matchups are as a frog player, right? So what are the bad matchups for fairies? And I would like for anybody who's an avid pure fairy player, like if you're an fairy enthusiast, sound off in the comments, like what do you think your worst matchups are? What do you lose games to? What decks give you the biggest problems? Because when I read Discord often and I just see what the conversations are about, it's kind of like there's no acknowledgement of anything being wrong with this deck. It's just like, oh yeah, everything's great. It's like, but that can't be true though. Like that cannot be true. Like it can't be the best deck. It can't be the top deck if one, it doesn't have the results at this point at all. And then two, you're saying that your best matchup is the most represented deck in the format, yet fairies are never next to it in top 8. Like that doesn't make any sense. So anyway, that's kind of my rant on pure fairy versus chaos fairy, but I do genuinely like this deck. We've done videos in the past with this deck too, so check those out. But yeah, now that we have Edison, officially on Dueling Book and stuff, and Konami's doing Ultimate Time Wizard tournaments. Yeah, I want to give this deck another spin. I did put it in S- tier on my last tier list, I believe, is where I put it at. So yeah, let's get into a game.
A few moments later.
Powerlifting 69. That is an aggressive name.
We're looking to throw our rocks.
I mean, I'm surprised he didn't throw a rock. with that fucking name. Do you see that name?
That's a powerful ass name.
That is a powerful name. All right, here we go.
Okay.
So we got 3 normal summons. But
We
we
do have 3
Trag.
normal summons and Trag.
DD War Lady maybe? Go in?
Yeah, I'm thinking set DD Warrior Lady because we have the D-Alk in the hand.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And also, we have the Herald and Shining Angel to throw away if somehow there's a monster effect that goes crazy here.
Yeah. I also like this because if they start off with Shora, DD War Lady just eats it.
Yeah, she eats that shit up nice and good.
Did our opponent... Did they die? Okay.
He was so intimidated by our set 1 pass play.
Yeah.
He had an anime monologue. He just set a card and pass.
Oh, God, how does this work?
So this is before damage
And
calculation.
DD War Lady's in damage calc, right?
It's after.
Okay, so basically Aaron would ruin DD War Lady. We might have to herald this.
Yeah, I'm cool with heralding this because it's no mill. This is the end of his turn as well.
Yes.
So like I'm gonna flip. He's gonna declare the effect. You can choose, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead.
Yeah. Discard.
Yeah. What are we discarding? Are we still discarding this Shining Angel?
No, I kind of like the Shining Angel here.
Yeah.
Because we don't have anything
discard the
banished yet.
D-Alk.
So yeah, and then click on his arrow.
An angel can get D-Alk, so that's fair.
All right, he knows. There we go.
All right.
Well, that was scary.
Well, hey, Herald's still a great card.
It is.
It bails you out, Wall Street style.
Yeah. All right.
Ow.
That was a pretty good roll.
It was. So I honestly like summon Shining Angel, attack.
Same. I like that too. The only way we get screwed there is brain control, but like they better have it. So I'm down for that.
Yeah, I'm cool with this.
Yeah. Get in for 14 and then 15.
I think some people would normally just attack with DD Warrior Lady, but it's important to get the recruiter on the field because it essentially lets you play into the Caius play even more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, brain control, yeah, that would hurt my feelings.
It'll be annoying. We still have Trag plus Caius is like a little bit of a crackback.
Yeah. We also have many D-Alks that we can draw off the top to rectify that.
True. This deck does play 3 of it, right?
Yeah.
Dear God, we can never get a regular person on Dueling Book. I don't know what it is.
They don't exist is the thing.
How is this possible? How do people, when people actually are like climbing the ladder, for the people who are at the top, like, did you have to suffer the first fucking 100 games to get like real people? Like, did you just accept suffering? I don't have enough time in a day.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's just no way.
Like, I have a full-time job. I'm a content creator. Like, I have somewhat of a social life and stuff. There's not enough time in a day to deal with people like this.
All right. So, YGO and Hamster are cards.
Yeah, I'm also just down to straight up Caius this.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. Like, I think it's Caius Town, and I think the DD Warrior Lady's going away.
Oh, really? I was thinking the Shining Angel.
The Shining Angel, really? No.
Yeah.
Because what I like about the Shining Angel is that this mind control, like, I can get a Herald or I can get
Cyber Valley.
Yeah, Cyber Valley.
All right, you want to do that? Let's do that route. But yeah, Caius him.
I mean, he could be playing Lightsworn. Jesus. He's trying to prove a point now. Taking damage in the reverse order.
Oh, that's actually kind of annoying because I was saying in my head, we're going to mind control and kill him next turn. Okay.
Well, I guess you were wrong.
Yeah.
We didn't mind control him and we still killed him.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
In terms of siding, it's Lightsworn. Decree comes out.
Yeah, Decree is definitely not.
Heavy Storm is probably not it.
Yeah.
Let's put in like Mind Crush.
I like a Mind Crush.
How do I feel about My Body as a shield?
I like My Body.
It's good against JD. Let's put in My Body.
Yep.
Maybe Solemn. Solemn's probably good against his deck.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think if we want Call It a Haunted. Maybe Call It a Haunted for MST. Let's do that.
Yeah, just side at all the back row.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about, is there any merit to DD Crow? No, let's just go with this. Let's just go with this.
Yeah, I was thinking about Crow, but I was just like, it's all right.
Yeah. Okay, your hand is a bunch of different things.
A bunch of different things. A lot of things that don't really mesh together. All right. After I start my turn here, I have to step away for 1 second. I gotta get something from the front door.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
All right.
Okay. So I just kind of want to pass.
Oh, you want to pass? Okay, that's interesting.
You want to set your Ryko? Because I feel like this is just
It's asking to get ruined by like Flip Ryko, Pop, and then
yeah, because it's like the only thing I could do is set my body, but then I'm like using my body on the card I don't want to use it on, and also the thing about that is that I don't even, it's not even a guarantee if he does pop Ryko, he could pop the back row and do something else to the Ryko.
yeah, that's the fear. His indecisiveness is doing nothing correct. Let's try do nothing. We have Battle Fader. Let's see what happens.
I don't think Battle Fader is gonna fail us here. I think he's gonna do some good work.
I do wish we had a Kai's here. It would be so nice, but see what happens.
Well, we'll draw one. And if we don't, we can draw two and find more cards that are good.
That is true. Cyber Valley does convert.
Card Trooper. Okay. Dust Shoot Ryko gone. So I assume we're taking 19.
Yeah, we could take 19.
Yeah, 19's... That's fine. A Cyber Dragon off the top would be hot here.
That would be very fucking good.
That would be a hot-ass Cyber Dragon.
Oh, that was a really good, really good draw. So you could set Ryko, set Call, set my body.
Yeah, because now we have something. Oh wow, that's actually amazing. We're hot and fresh out the kitchen right now.
Yeah, so now if he flips Ryko and he targets our monster, we get my body at. But if he tries to do anything extra, so let's see what he targets. So yeah, we could do this here.
Yeah, this seems to be the right thing to do here. I'm about it. Okay.
No.
Yeah, we say no.
No. Look at the chat.
Oh. I thought you were just being funny and saying no. I wasn't even looking at him typing. I was like more interested in his graveyard than anything this guy has to say. All right.
Oh, perfect. Well, I want to see if he uses the effect. I'll be surprised.
I would be surprised too. But I'll be goddamn happy if he does.
All right. Yeah, negate that shit.
All right.
All right. Now we're gonna pop this back
we are trading so favorably in all these situations. It's like crazy, actually, what's happening right now.
We drew a Christie and it just made everything come to life.
Yeah, I didn't realize how good a Christia draw would have been off the top there, but that was pretty insane.
Oh.
And it was a good hit. Jesus Christ.
Why are we okay? Once we
oh
call
my God,
Christie,
we're at 4 fairies as well.
Yes.
We're at 4 fairies.
No, don't do that on the face. You got MST it. Draw for turn is safer to draw.
Yeah, it's safer. True.
All right, now do it.
Yep.
He is sick.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's real wild. All right. Let's
well,
just start beating in.
Yep. Why did we mill 4 fairies?
I don't know. I do not know. I just know that
That
it's
was
very good.
damn. That's fucking sour.
Seven
That
on
is
crush
really
pass.
sour.
All right. Imagine he goes summon attack honest, and we're just like mind crush honest. Like, tell him after the duel.
I'm not sending him shit.
Of course
I'm
not.
leaving. I'm leaving so fast.
Of course not. Of course we aren't sending him shit. This guy's been a total nuisance. Now he's playing faster. Look at him.
Yeah, now he's my buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything worth calling here? JD isn't live.
It's not live. Yeah, I don't think we need to do anything to this, to be honest. It's not worth
Yeah,
risking our
it's
battle fader in hand that we have.
Yeah, I mean, this battle is very likely getting faded, and we are summoning Christie again.
Yeah, and then we could also draw 2 off that battle fader.
All right, well, you need to stop. Now you're saying some sexy shit.
We summon Battle Fader, we summon Christia, we summon Cyber Valley, like we draw 2.
Now you're saying some sexy shit. Now I'm getting excited.
I'm getting excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no thanks. We're not gonna die to a random brain control you draw.
Yeah.
We'll pass on that.
All right. Here it is.
I'm gonna grab this Herald, I feel like.
Herald is pretty good because we're gonna draw 2 cards, so we're probably gonna draw a fairy.
Yeah.
I like Herald.
Boom, boom. Look at that. Won't he do it?
Really won't.
Honest? I was about to say, if he did have honest there, that would actually be kind of annoying.
Slightly. I mean, if they can't clear to Christie, none of it matters. I can't believe this guy thinks he's getting a deck list with the way he's been playing.
Yeah.
I cannot believe.
He's bugging. He's bugging. Alright, so where's this at? This graveyard doesn't really matter except for the fact that it is live if she leaves, which I don't really see how that's happening. She's got to leave a very violent way. It's got to be the utmost violent, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, set Ryko, but there's already 2 in the grave. Also, if he falls low enough, we'll just Caius him. And don't fall too low now. Alright, summon Sangan.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
You
feeling ignorant?
I do really feel ignorant because it's just like I have Christie on the field. Like I don't really feel like many things can go wrong.
All right, let's play.
So like, yeah, I'm down to.
Because like, all right, maybe we miss out on 1,000 this turn, but next turn we get to Kai's him.
Yeah, I have to think about if this is a Ryko. Ooh,
okay, so we miss out on our 1,000 this turn. It's fine. We can also herald that on a later date if we kill him. So pass.
This is perfect, actually, because this gives us an actual fairy we can summon and get back to 4. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
That was grueling, for sure. That was awful. That's just the dueling book special at this point. This guy.
Right. Just fix this real quick.
Oh wait, I didn't know that you could block people right there.
There was a glitch on my dueling book. That was weird.
Oh god! I just learned something.